At this job market on the outskirts of Beijing, applicants jostle for attention from recruiters. Most advertised positions offer salaries of about $700 a month, below the average wage earned in the capital. But many here can't afford to be picky, including recent graduate Yang Yuhao.
I just came back to China from studying abroad. The salary offered by most companies here is much lower than I expected.
When the 25-year-old was growing up, China was riding high on decades of double-digit growth. But since the end of the COVID-19 pandemic, its economy has stagnated, and work opportunities for those his age are difficult to come by. Rising unemployment is just one of the challenges the government faces as it convenes for this year's National People's Congress.
People have a lot of questions about where the economy is going and whether the central leadership has a plan to respond to this more negative reality than expected after COVID. And so far, we haven't really seen a lot in the way of new policy approaches or new structural reforms from the leadership.
Chinese leaders say they are determined to shift away from China's old growth model of relying on risky debt, much of it in the once booming property sector. But efforts to prevent a real estate bubble by reining in huge debt has crippled the industry, dealing a blow to consumer and business confidence, as well as cutting into household wealth, all adding more pressure to families who are having fewer babies than ever before.
President Xi Jinping has spent the last decade consolidating power, and there are no visible signs his leadership is under threat. However, the leaders attending this year's National People's Congress are under pressure to stave off potential unrest and convince the public the Chinese economy is not in decline.
Officials have refused to roll out major economic stimulus, instead doubling down on calls for so-called high-quality development, including in artificial intelligence and green technology. This will take time, but Beijing's message is the short-term suffering will be worth the long-term gains. It's a message 1.4 billion people will need to be convinced of, including those here desperate to find work. Katrina Yu, Al Jazeera, Beijing.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.